On the line from New York, we have Dr. Pete Goldman. Dr. Goldman is a chiropractor who created the Zone Technique and the Zone School of Healing. He's helped elite athletes from the world of martial arts and has very flattering testimonies from world champion fighters like Rob Kaman, saying that Pete is the best healer he's ever experienced. Pete, thank you so much for coming on to Right Now. I guess the first question would be, what is zone healing?
It's a great question. And first of all, thank you for having me on. I sincerely appreciate it. Basically, there was a chiropractor. His name was Dr. Thurman Fleet, and he practiced in Texas in the 1930s, 40s, 50s. And he did things that certainly no other chiropractor was doing, and really no other doctor or healer was doing. People would come to him with severe illnesses, things that go way beyond what certainly any other chiropractor was dealing with, and they were healing. He called his work zone therapy. And starting in 1993, I was taught personally by 4 of his direct disciples. And I learned zone therapy starting in 93. And then over the years, I had many influences in healing, metaphysics, spirituality, things like that. And I came up with Zone Technique, which is slightly different than zone therapy, and also opened Zone School, which now has about 1,300 plus chiropractors, medical doctors, acupuncturists, naturopaths, Reiki masters, therapists. Any doctor or healer can join my school. So basically what Zone Technique is, it's a way to look at the main systems of the body, and it breaks the body up into the glandular system, which is all the glands, the eliminative system, which is all the eliminative organs, the nerve system, the digestive system, the muscle system, and the circulatory system. And these 6 systems basically encompass every cell in the body. So whatever could possibly be wrong with someone, whether they have a terrible digestive situation or a gynecological problem or panic attacks or a weak immune system or no energy or whatever, or neck pain or whatever it might be, in the Zone Technique, we would break it down and say one or more of these 6 systems is not balanced. And then there's a way to quickly analyze the body. It takes me about 20 seconds to determine which of these systems are not balanced, and then we balance them.
So how do you go from, because to me, like my back is a bit of a mess, really. I had Perthes disease as a kid. So I've got like a tilted pelvis, which obviously sends you back out. So I would go to a chiropractor, and it was almost like going in, lay down, crack, off you go, son. And I'd feel great afterwards, don't get me wrong, but it certainly wasn't, as almost a spiritual thing. And also it wasn't breaking down different zones. So how did you go from being a chiropractor that is, maybe doing that kind of physical structural stuff to actually going almost like just way beyond that? Obviously, I know you were trained by these people, but it feels like a leap.
It is a leap. And actually, it's interesting. In a sense, it's not a leap. You'll find it quite fascinating to know that the first chiropractor, the chiropractor who founded chiropractic in 1895, he actually didn't even talk about neck and back pain. All he really talked about was aligning the spine so organs of the body can get the proper nerve flow and heal. So actually, the original chiropractic, what chiropractic was created for, was not neck and back pain. It was to heal every cell in the body. Now, of course, I went to regular chiropractic school where they taught that neck and back stuff. But Dr. Fleet, he developed a way to determine what parts of the brain are not balanced and then balance them. So when I check someone out with a Zone Technique, I can actually tell which brain centers that control those 6 systems that I mentioned before are balanced and which are not. And within 2 to 3 minutes of stimulating someone's spinal cord, then you'll like this actually. The body is like an electrical machine. The brain is like the positive pole and the spinal cord is the negative pole. So there's actually suboccipital fibers, just points in the back of the head that relate to these different brain centers. When I feel the back of the head, which takes me 20 seconds, I can tell what's happening in these brain centers. Once I know which brain centers are balanced and which are not, there's certain points in the spinal cord that I stimulate. I'm stimulating the spinal cord with my hands very gently. and it sends energy up the cord and resets the brain centers. Now, interestingly enough, let's just say someone's listening to me and they're a layperson, or if they're a chiropractor or any kind of doctor or healer, because I teach any doctor or healer, and they say like, man, I never knew about these brain centers, or this is new information to me. The bottom line is people have flown to me from 30 different countries and cities around the world for healing when they couldn't heal with anything else: chiropractors, medical doctors, acupuncturists, homeopaths, and they came and they healed. So the results are the proof.
Is this a technique that anyone can learn? And is there anywhere down the road from me in Derby that could actually do this? Because it sounds like it would be something that would help me out, and I'm sure it'd help a lot of people at home.
Well, first of all, I want to fix your back, because I will permanently. If we ever meet in person, give me 4 sessions with you, 4 days in a row. Your back will be fixed forever. By the way,
wow.
In reference to what you said about your back, that's number one. Number two, right now, to answer your question, right now, the way Zone School is set up, and it's an online program with optional in-person events. Right now, the way Zone School is set up, it is only open to doctors and healers. So if someone is a chiropractor, an acupuncturist, a homeopath, a naturopath, a Reiki master, an energy worker, a physical therapist, they can join Zone School. And they could just, as I mentioned before we got on, they could go to zoneschoolofhealing.com. That's zoneschoolofhealing.com. And they can enroll right there and start learning. The basic course has over 50 hours of material, which can be consumed online. The more advanced courses, I have about 400 or 500 hours of material. And again, there are optional in-person events. At the moment, that's how it's set up. Will I teach some of these principles to non-doctors at some point? I've been thinking about it for a while, and it probably will happen.
That would be great to have the ability to heal yourself. Do you think that people are kind of more open now after the last few years? They're seeking an alternative to, pharmaceutical drugs, to what would be considered the norm in terms of the medical industry, because it is an industry. Do you think people are more open to it now?
Well, here's the answer. I don't know. In other words, the logic you just gave, the way you phrase that, it makes total sense, and it would be great if they would be. I don't know. All I can say is I have available what I have available. And I know that chiropractors and other doctors and healers who have practiced for a long time and done the best they could, they join Zone School, and then they tell me, 3, 4, 5 months later, 12 months later, hey, Dr. Pete, I was practicing as a chiropractor or whatever for X amount of years, and now I'm in Zone School, and everything I knew about healing before was like kindergarten. I'm getting results now I never could have got. I'm getting healing results that I couldn't have even dreamed about prior to joining Zone School. So all I can say is I'm here to teach, and the results speak for themselves. How open people are or will continue to be, I would only be guessing, but I hope you're right.
Of course. I mean, I checked out your website, obviously, prior to talking to you, and I looked at, I mentioned it in the introduction, the testimonials. They come from, elite athletes, and not just elite regular athletes, but elite athletes that basically get beaten up for a living. And they're kind of saying like, this guy is the best. So what you're doing is obviously working. So just finally, would you be able to give out your website again, if that's okay? Because I do know that different doctors of within different fields do watch the show, and so it would be great to give your website again, if that's okay.
I appreciate that. It's zoneschoolofhealing.com. That's zoneschoolofhealing.com, and any chiropractor, medical doctor, acupuncturist, homeopath, Reiki master, energy worker, physical therapist, anyone who is a doctor or healer of some type can go to the website, find out more, enroll right on the site, and start learning. And within a few months, you will be a healing grandmaster, and the results speak for themselves.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Goldman. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate your time.
It was an honor to be on. I really appreciate it. Thank you, sincerely.
Thank you.